Hi, everybody. Saturday afternoon, getting closer and closer to 2024. Rain showers really winding down on the Saturday, and I'll get to it, but I do want to tell you I still have a dry Sunday, a dry New Year's Eve, Sunday night, and a dry New Year's Day on Monday for you. And for the most part, light winds. So unless you live in a spot where you get caught in the fog, which is going to happen, I think, in the valley at least tomorrow in some locations, the forecast looks really nice, and I think the coast is going to be fantastic. I want to spend now mostly taking you through what's going to be developing actually the back end of next week, going into that following week. And this is that threat of cold weather and at least low Cascade snow levels, and maybe, and I'll get into it, maybe some snow or ice in the valley. The first time we've, at least as forecasters, seen the threat of any significantly low level cold weather coming. So, this is the American GFS model. This is the upper airflow pattern, 500 millibar contours, 18,000 feet. This is this afternoon, and just follow my mouse. So you can see there's a deep low center upper level disturbance down in California and southern Nevada. There's a weaker trough that's trying to swing by us this afternoon. That's mainly anchored to the north. And see how the flow pattern, here's the north flow, here's the south flow. So we're kind of splitting, and that's why the showers are starting to really decrease and become lighter and lighter across the area. Let me go ahead and play this into tomorrow. And tomorrow, the flow pattern continues to split. A new low traveling down into central California, staying offshore, the northern flow up to our north. And notice how we're in the middle. And I've mentioned this before, not always, but often when you're in the middle, you have light winds and you have either dry weather or any precipitation is pretty light. And when you combine what's going on at the surface tomorrow, which is a broad area of high pressure coming in, winds are going to be calming. The east winds out in the gorge already calming. So confidence is high. We'll have light winds, including out in the gorge on Sunday, and at least into the start of New Year's Day. Let's go ahead and play this into New Year's Day. Notice what happens on Monday. See the familiar ridging of the contours? So that's high pressure at the surface. That's high pressure ridging aloft. That is a dry day for New Year's Day. Now, the next system, you see this trough digging out here, and I'll go ahead and play this into Tuesday. This one, and again, this is an El Nino signature, taking these low centers more often south of our area into California. And this is happening again on Tuesday. It looks like the associated surface boundary with this never really pushes into our area. I am expecting at least an increasing chance of showers Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night into Wednesday, as this low, the center of it, drops to our south. But it looks like we'll get some moisture swinging inland. So again, that's developing rain chances Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning. Nothing substantial. Snow levels generally expected to hold above Cascade passes, or at least above 4,000 feet at Government Camp. And then this is Wednesday behind all of that. And while I think there could be some lingering showers, see ridging starts to build in. I mean, maybe Wednesday afternoon goes dry. I had a shower chance Thursday. I've taken that out because here's this ridging. 79, 76, 73, 70, 68 contour. It's really high heights, which translates into mild weather overall for this time of the year. Now, notice how the ridge, okay, follow my mouse. See how this ridge pattern right here is more of going up to the north. So it's kind of a more of a kind of a ridge axis that's this way. Notice how this ridging on Thursday, if the ridge axis is right here, see how the ridge is kind of laying down. We call that a flat ridge. And often when you get a flattening of the ridge, you get cloudiness increasing. And this is going to lead into some rain on Friday with this next system that's back in here. We see the darker blue color. So this is a dry Thursday going into a Friday front. Now, the analysis that I trust the most shows this front comes in, the surface front, before the noon hour on Friday. Here's the trough offshore, but this is throwing moisture inland. So Friday, pretty high confidence. We're going to see some rain. I don't think it's a lot. It probably back into that quarter of an inch category, maybe for Friday. But Friday is the first front, and I talked about this in my last video. Friday is the first front that kind of opens the door to what's going to be colder and colder weather systems coming into next week. So the front next Friday is significant because it opens the door to get rid of the crazy mild air and bring in some colder air. Okay. So this is Saturday of next week. We have the rain Friday. Let me refer to my notes. Friday snow level next week. In fact, by late afternoon or evening, could come down as low as 2,000 feet into the Cascades. And then this is Saturday, a day that's going to see scattered showers as we continue to be in this deep trough. And here's that dark blue contour. That's a 540 contour. Remember, I always tell you to look for that, because when we get into that 540 or 543, 546 contour heights aloft, that snow level is at 2,000 feet. And that's what I just said. That's Saturday, this upcoming next weekend, 2,000 feet. Then we go into Sunday. Now, right now, see how there's some ridging kind of trying to come in? The trough drops off. This initial trough of cold air drops off to our east. We have some ridging coming in. It looks like Sunday of next weekend could be dry. And then look at this. Here's Monday. This is the second front. Friday's the first front, opens the door for the colder weather. Here's the second one coming in. It's going to be even colder. See the 540 contour dipping? Again, this is snow levels of 2,000 feet initially coming in, and then get even colder. This is Monday of next week. Monday of next week, I've got snow levels. Okay, I'm going to get to this. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Monday of next week. This is the first chance where, depending on what surface features do, we could see some low-level valley snow or rain. This is Monday the 8th. And then let me play this into Tuesday. Now this is showing we get some ridging taking place, but there's still a lot of moisture coming in. So with that said, let me back this up. Monday, a week from New Year's Day, Monday the 8th, the second system could be cold enough for some valley features to produce some low-level moisture. And with that, I come to this. Now I want to play you into what the surface feature is going to do. Because often, not always, but often, we're talking about chances for snow or rain down low on the valley floor. You really need to follow the wind patterns around the surface features, okay? So this is, this is zoomed in a little bit. I'm going to give you a closer look in a moment. This is Monday, January 8th. Here's that surface low. Now, initially, this comes in. See the high right here? The wind pattern around the high is coming in from the west. The wind pattern around the surface low is coming in from the west. So that's rain into the valley. That's a snow level of 2,000 feet. That's rain into the valley. But let me play this into Tuesday night. Here's Tuesday evening. Now we've got another system coming. This will be the third system, okay? This is the third system. This is Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and this is January 9th. Notice how this low, let me play it one more time. Notice how this one is approaching on a line linear to the mouth of the Columbia River, right in here. This positioning could draw cold air coming out of the gorge at low levels while this low approaches. See the highs up here in Canada? This is finally a batch of Canadian air. Follow the white areas on the map. Canadian air that's going to drop all the way down into Montana, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, even down into northern Arizona and New Mexico. So there's cold air for this east wind to feed off of and be pulled into this low, okay? So this is Tuesday the 9th into Tuesday night into the morning of Wednesday the 10th. Here's the morning of Wednesday. Let me back it up one more. This is Tuesday overnight into early Wednesday. See how the surface low is now dropping to our south? And the winds are going to come around from the east. When you get on the north side of a low, that pulls an east wind. And if the positioning is such that that's pulling winds out of the gorge, and there's cold air for the gorge to feed off of, which there is, that's this cold Canadian air mass, that can lead to snow and ice into the valley. So this is very, very interesting to keep tabs on. Let me give you a closer look, and let me bring this fuller screen. Okay, so what we're looking at right here is Tuesday night, January 9th, into early Wednesday morning, the 10th. What I've done is highlight that low so you can see it. I'm sorry, I've highlighted the high, the H's. That's the cold Canadian air. Here's the low just south of Portland. We're on the north side of the low. The north side of the low, when things are cold enough, is the snow zone, or in some cases, it can be the ice zone, okay? So again, this is east winds pulling cold air coming out of the gorge. So this is a ways out. A lot of things could happen. The track of this low could change. The strength of the low could change. The cold air of Canada could end up pushing well off to our east. But for right now, the setup is promising for some valley wintry precipitation potentially sticking on the night of January 9th into Wednesday the 10th. The one thing I do want to point out that catches my eye as a forecaster, just see my mouse right here, follow this. If I was going to draw the actual surface boundary of the cold air, here's how I would draw it. I would have it in northern Minnesota, and then I would dip it down into Wyoming, and then I would have the cold air boundary in northern Idaho, northern to central Washington, and then up into here. So in other words, the coldest air boundary of this cold Canadian air is still off to our northeast. But keep in mind, there is some cold air filtration down through Wyoming and down into Nevada and Utah and Idaho. And this low is going to do what I call a gorge pull. So this is low pressure. This is colder air. This is positioned to pull cold air from the gorge into the valley, what I call a gorge east wind pull because of the positioning of that low. So again, that's the 9th into the 10th. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch. Now, let's check out a couple other things. When I first started talking about this a couple of days ago in a video that said, cold air, low snow levels, etc. A lot of you watched that video. I showed you this map on January 7th with the polar jet stream and blue getting down close to us. So again, the timing of this has stayed pretty consistent, that we're opening the door around the 7th into the 8th, into the 9th, into the 10th for low snow levels that eventually could get down to the valley. Right now, snow levels for January 7th look like at the lowest point of the 24-hour period, there could be sticking snow down to 1,500 feet. January 8th, 2,000 feet. January 9th, which we just showed you with an east wind, do we pull it to 1,000 feet, and does it get even down to sea level the night of January 9th into the morning of the 10th? Potentially. Lots of interesting things to happen. So I'm almost done. And what I'm going to show you is a map of temperature mean anomaly departure. This is the European map. This is for a 7-day period of January 7th through the 14th. And while this is not overly impressive, the white areas are basically near normal. The blue areas are a little bit colder than normal. So this doesn't show over a 7-day average period, January 7th through the 14th, that there's any significant cold. But let me tell you, these maps have shown us to be in the orange and the yellow and the really warm colors, nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. This is one of the few periods so far this fall, now into the winter season, where we've had any widespread areas of normal to below normal temperatures over Oregon and Washington. So again, models are biting on some cold air coming. And then check out this. This is January 13th to the 20th. And what I want you to notice is the purple areas up in Alaska, and then the western provinces, the BC province of Canada. These purple areas are temperature departures of 20 to 30 degrees below normal. This is really cold stuff, Arctic air. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to come visit us. But again, I haven't seen any cold air masses like this show up in Canada at all this winter. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Again, no indications this is going to drop into us. In fact, this shows some warming coming into our area and undercutting it. But anytime you see some cold air of that magnitude up in Canada, especially western provinces, you have to keep an eye on it, right? Yeah, because things can change and there's cold air out there. All right, real quick, let's wrap it up. Here's the next, if you're going up to the mountain, this is the next 5 days, which is pretty quiet, kind of more of what we've been having through Thursday of next week. All dry on New Year's, all dry on Monday. Cascade Passes is going to be dry. Excellent traveling. If you're going up to the mountains to recreate, they are open. Snow level tomorrow, 4,000 feet. Notice the afternoon temperatures well above freezing. That's pretty mild stuff. Tuesday and Wednesday, notice snow levels stay above government camp at 5,000 feet. That's rain showers at government camp into Wednesday. Hopefully, maybe 3 inches of snow at Timberline on Tuesday, maybe 3 on Wednesday. We'll see. Might be more like 1 or 2. And then Thursday, we're back to dry. But there's no real travel issues here whatsoever is the main point. And then, again, thanks to Hazelodell Tire Pros, Portland 7-day forecast, which is where I kind of base myself out of. I actually live in Vancouver, Washington. New Year's Day, dry. If you're going to be at the coast, it's going to be sunny and it's going to reach 50 degrees. 46 if we get caught in the fog. And then New Year's Day, I think east winds pick up a little bit in the afternoon, should bring sunshine, but we're going to start off with frosty conditions. I've got us at 47. And then Tuesday, it's rain in the afternoon, not a lot of rain. This is kind of less than a 1/10 of an inch of rain on Tuesday and maybe less than a 1/10 of an inch of rain on Wednesday. Thursday's back to dry. Friday's that first front that opens the door to get rid of the mild warm stuff and get us into some actual more wintry type of weather conditions. Now, Friday's 38 to 45. That's kind of a normal temperature range. with some rain and some breezes. Saturday, 30, 60, 44. It's kind of a typical day for us this time of the year, but not warm. A few showers around. And then we're watching that front on Monday and the one that comes in Monday night, Tuesday of next week. We'll see what happens. I will keep you updated. This is my YouTube channel, my weather site, portlandweather.com. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill, and I'll talk to you soon. If you haven't subscribed, please push the subscribe button and tell your friends about these videos. I'll talk to you soon.